Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here, Brother Brand Ambassador, and I'm so excited to hang out with you again. Another hour on Thursday. So today we have a really fun project for you. Joanne's on here, Joanne Banko, with, of course, another Brother Brand Ambassador, with the free design of the month and a really cool project that I think you'll really use probably for the whole summer, I'm thinking, not even just for this weekend. So pop in, say hi. We are live streaming on Brothers Sewing Facebook and YouTube channels. I see you all rolling in. If you're new here, be sure to say hi to each other, and you can always go back and watch the replays as well. So if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the Brother channel. Then you'll never miss a live show. You'll see all the announcements when we schedule them. If you're on Facebook, be sure to follow. And I'm pretty sure, I have to think about it, but I'm pretty sure most of our events show up under the events page. So if you're ever rolling through at the beginning of the month, you're like, who's coming on? What's happening? Just go to Facebook in the event side and you'll see everything that we're doing. I'm actually working behind the scenes today on a really cool mesh beach bag. So some of you, I missed it, but all my nieces and nephews are coming in town. And so next Thursday on Brothers channel right here, I'll show you how I made the mesh bag. But working on it today. I got to make 3. So if I screw up a couple, I'll save the good video for you. All right, now let's bring up Joanne Banko. I see you all rolling in. Joanne, how are you?
Hey, everybody. Good to see everyone today.
Oh, they are all rolling in. Looks like YouTube is way faster than Facebook today. You never know. They always like change around. But we're very excited to have you today because the free design of the month is such a cool thing that Brother offers, and your project is really fun.
You know, it really is a treat every month to see it published on the blog, but I hope it's a treat for everybody that is out there waiting for it to show up. We got a whole variety, everything from 4x4 to larger designs, and some project always that goes along with it to let you make the most of the free design of the month from Brother.
That sounds good. We actually have a picture of one right here. That gives you a little preview of what you're going to get to see here. So
this time we've got I forget what size it is, but if you bring up the blog, we can check that out. This time we've got a little bit of a larger design. So this one is sized for a 6x10 or larger hoop. So be fun to know out there how many of you have that size hoop. We're also going to be talking today about PE design software. So I'd love to know how many of you out there have PE design. Now, we all know that our friend Cindy Hogan is the absolute expert when it comes to software, but I like to dabble in software. You like to dabble in software. And hopefully, if anyone here has software, they like to dabble too. So there are just some really fun, easy features to use in PE design that I think if you have the software, sometimes software is a little intimidating. I'd love to know in the chat if that's you, if you have that kind of feeling. But I think that what it is, software we can't learn like we can everything else. We don't have a background for it necessarily unless we've, been in that realm. Then we usually don't need any help. But, sewing, we've all had some little background. So when you read the manual or, you sit down at the machine, you can kind of work your way around it. But I think a lot of people with software, they think they can just read the book and learn everything. And it really just doesn't work that way because it's a different language. It's a different, different process. So personally, I think one of the best ways to learn software is by doing specific projects. So in this particular project today, we're going to take the free design of the month and we're going to literally chop it up to make something new out of it. And I know, Angela, you and I have both done that with playing around with designs in the machine. And sometimes you can do it in the machine, but sometimes you need software to very specifically isolate parts that you want to use in a different way. So that's just a little background of what we're going to be doing today.
So Joanne, just real quick before we go, because I see a lot of people saying, I don't have that size hoop. Can I still do the project? Do I have to use software? So just mention a little bit something about that.
Okay, great question. Okay, so here's the thing. We all know in sewing, there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of options, right? We always have options. Long list of options. So this particular design is for 6x10 and larger hoops. However, I hope you can take this idea and run with it and do your own thing with your own size hoop, with your own size design, and play around with your own software. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna use some specific things that PE Design does that is kind of unique and special. But just again, think of the idea. What we're doing here is we're creating some embellished napkins. So you'll get some tips on stitching actually on the napkins themselves and hooping it and positioning and all that. So stay tuned for all that. But yes, you can always take another design and do whatever you want with it. One of the beauties of the whole idea of embroidery these days is no matter what size hoop you have, you can always reposition your fabric and link designs together. So even if all you have is I don't want to say all, but even if you have a 4x4 hoop and you've got certain designs that only fit that specific size, so go ahead and draw, if you want to make four of the same thing to make an 8x8 design, just draw yourself a crosshair, right in the middle, and then another crosshair in each quadrant, if you can picture like four corners, and then hoop in the center of the first one, hoop in the center of the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and you'll have a block of designs. A while back, I did a zip code pillow. I was off the blog, off the live show for a little while, but the blogs were going monthly. So I'd love to know if anybody saw the project that I did with the zip code pillow. In that case, I took a design and I just simply stitched it on 4 sections of fabric and then sewed those 4 sections of fabric together. So when you look at it, if you're not looking really close for that seam line that goes both, vertical and horizontal, it looks like a really super big pillow size design. So that's another idea. In the projects, I try to give you like ideas, like, oh, maybe I could use this to do that and use that to do this, and just kind of mix and match those together. So I'm enjoying seeing what everybody's saying here in the chat and, putting in their 2 cents worth. Some of them have different software. Some of them love the software. But everybody just needs to kind of jump in and do your own thing and see where you get with it.
That sounds good. Well, Joanne, take it away.
All right. So let me start by just showing you the actual project itself. Again, very simple. All this is the design stitched out on felt. I backed it with another piece of felt, inserted some elastic in between so that this could wrap around a stack of embroidered napkins. Now, once again, let's talk about options. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful design. One of the first things you'll see is that I change the colors, and I do that almost every time because I don't know, I'm just, I got to do my own thing, got to have it my own way. But you'll be able to see the 2 different color variations right in the blog, and you'll be able to see which colors I changed for this. But wouldn't this design look gorgeous on, a bib of a barbecue apron, on the in the center of a placemat, in the center of a table runner? You could even, take this. I was thinking last night, what kind of crazy ideas could I do with this? But the same thing that's designed to wrap around a stack of napkins could wrap around your iced tea jar, or your lemonade jar, or a vase that you're going to have your flowers on. So your flowers in. So just all kinds of ideas that you can do with this. Sometimes we need to think in a simple way because the design itself is the star of the show, so to speak. And why we don't have to make anything really complicated with this. We can make something really, really simple. So then I just embroidered a stack of napkins, and I'm going to show you how to create this actual red work design. Now, take a look at that design that's on the napkin and take a look at my design on my napkin holder. And do you see something there that matches? Okay, you're already catching this. You can see that those daisies and those strawberries are the same on the napkin as they are on the actual napkin holder. Again, it just wraps around. The whole idea for this is to keep your napkins on the table from blowing away in the wind until you get a chance to use each one. But what I did is I took the strawberries and the daisies and I isolated them in software and created a redwork design out of that. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and go into the software and we'll pull that up. Okay.
There we
And
go.
got it on screen.
I sure do.
All right, so you can see there, I have got the entire design selected on the screen and it is already, I've already changed the color. So let me just go real quick and just show you how I would, how I would change the color. I just simply click on whichever one I wanted to change, go up to the little color spool, and then I can go over here. We'll just do something crazy for a minute here. And I could change that to any color that I want. And there you go. It's as simple as that. So when you open PE Design, you see the sewing order here on the left, and you see that little spool, and that would allow you to change the thread color. Now, another thing, if you're new to software that you want to think about is that there is your best friend lives inside the software. What is your best friend? It is the undo button right here up at the top. And when you rest your mouse on it, it'll say undo, and it will just simply turn back the clock on whatever you did previously and undo what you did. So don't we all love that undo button? Okay. And you can use it many, many times. I think it's, if I remember right, it's about 10 times you can undo in the software. It's enough to get you back to where you were. And then, of course, if you're working on a design and if all else fails, you can always just close the design and reopen it. And you've got start all over again. I see Connie says, so do you buy the PE design software? Yes, it is considered an accessory item, but you do need to realize that a lot of times it is part of a package. And believe it or not, I've known people who have bought brand new Brother embroidery machines and a year down the road they're still unpacking all their stuff and they realize they got PE design software as part of their package and never opened it up. So make sure you check to see what you got, but it is
I'm
available.
laughing. Joanne, I'm laughing about that because that actually happened to me years ago.
Okay.
I think it was PE Next, like one of the first, older ones.
Yeah.
And not paying attention because I didn't use software at that time. And I'm like, oh, wait, I have this.
Isn't that something? Yep. But so, like I said, it is an option. Now, again, options. There's a million of them, but you might be working with a design, and I encourage you to try this. You might have a design built into your machine or, that you have access to already. And you might be able to just skip parts of the design to stitch just what you want to stitch. Now, this one's a little bit unique, and you'll see in just a couple of minutes here that I couldn't stitch just the strawberry outline or just the daisy outline because there's other black outlines that are attached to it and connected. And we're always, somewhat bound by the digitizer. Whoever created this design, if they locked certain pieces together, when you bring them into your machine, they stay locked together. So you can't just skip forward and, and bypass some of those things. But in other cases, you can. So I just, again, I want to encourage you to explore and experiment. Sometimes we just get so stuck on that straight and narrow path that we don't, say, oh, what if I tried this? What if I tried that? So hopefully this will get you encouraged to just try some different things. All right. So once we've got the design all pulled up, again, I've already changed all of my colors. So I want to make sure that the entire design is selected. So I'm going to actually just minimize this just a little bit. One of the ways we can make sure a design is entirely selected. No, my computer's going to think for a little bit. Let me get that minimized there. Okay, is to just simply take our mouse and left click and drag a box all around the design. And you will know that everything is selected when there are black boxes in every corner and on the bottom and on the side. And then you can also see in the sewing order, there's a blue box around every section or every segment of that embroidery design. Okay. So once we've got that all selected, we're going to go up to the word stitches, and we're going to ask the software, would you please divide this by color for me? So what this means is it actually takes each color and allows us, each color segment allows us to deal with it individually. So again, we're ungrouping is basically what we're doing, but in here it's called divide by color. So we're going to click on that. It's going to think for just a minute. So now this is going to allow me to pick each different section, whatever I want to deal with here, and do something with it. I could simply take a section and copy it and paste it somewhere else and repeat it. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete everything except the flowers and the strawberries, and then I'm going to work with that. So how do I know what I need to delete? Well, I really don't know until I try, because these are sometimes a little bit hard to see, but I'll give you one little tip. If you're working in software and you're working in any software and you're having trouble seeing, like, what section is that? Oh, it's white, but I don't know. Is it this white? Is it that white? Is it white somewhere else? What I like to do sometimes is change it to a really weird color. So I'm going to change that to purple right now. Before you saw me do it in green. And now I know what sections that I'm dealing with, because it's an odd color than I would normally use. I'm going to go ahead and leave that purple for now, because I know I'm going to get rid of it. So how do I get rid of it? Well, now I use my right click and I simply select those objects. And then I can go up to my home tab and I can click on the word delete. If you're using a Windows computer, you can also click on your keyboard for the delete key. And I just got rid of that section. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to right click. I'm going to select it. And then I'm going to go up to home and I'm going to click on delete. So I'm getting rid of all those pieces and parts that I don't want to use. It just so happens that I'm kind of working from the top to the middle here, but we'll just do it one at a time. So you can see everything is starting to disappear. I don't want that red, so I'm going to select that. Again, I'm just going to go up to home and click delete. So, you've got your main menu here, and then you've got sub menus underneath that. So you need to make sure that you're on the right tab so that you can get what you need done here. So now I'm going to work from the bottom, because I know from the bottom up, that's going to get me where I want to go. And again, I'm going to go to home, delete. So you're just repeating the exact same thing over and over again. And obviously, if you wanted, other pieces and parts, you could delete other pieces and parts and save that particular one. So select that one, go home, delete. I'm almost there. Let's see what this one does. I don't even remember exactly myself. So again, if we make a mistake, no, I don't want that. So that's good. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of all that. One piece at a time. Okay, so I've only got a little bit left to go. Now I know that the piece here up at the top, where it's all the little green leafy accents, that's not going to be part of my red work outline, so I'm going to delete that. So there we go. I have got now just what I need plus a little extra. So now we're going to get rid of that little extra. And this is where we use a really special feature that, even though I have other brother software and I use that other brother software for other things, when we're working with PE design, we're working with the Big Brother software, the software that does everything for you, full digitizing, full editing. So we're always going to have more tools and more tricks that we can play with the software when we've got the full range. So one of those is the ability now to actually cut this apart. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to select the whole thing. I'm going to go up to arrange. I'm just going to move it to the center so that it's in the center and a little bit easier for you to see. And then again, I need this selected. I'm going to go back up to stitches and I'm going to say, now I need to do more than divide by color because this is all one color. It's all a black outline. So I need to actually split the stitches in this color. So I'm going to click on that. And now I get this wonderful little pair of scissors, and I can go around with my scissors and I can just simply click around all the part that I want to cut away. I'm going to be a little careful because I don't want to cut away any of my flowers. When I get to the end, I just double click and you'll see that part now is selected. So I can go home and I can delete that. There we go. All right. So I've only got one more little section down there. I'm going to go back again and do the same thing. I got to select everything first. So if you ever get stuck, and this happens a lot in many softwares, you're like, why can't I do what I want to do? It's because it's not selected. So you can, like I said, you can draw that box around it. Another way to do it would be to go up to select and then select all. It's going to select all of that part. So now I'm going to go back to stitches. I'm going to go back to split stitches, and I'm going to chop off that bottom little box there that I don't want. Just like that. Go back home. Go to delete. All right, there we go. Believe it or not, that is what I need for my napkin red work design. The only thing is, I mean, a napkin has what? It has pointy points on it. So wouldn't it be fun to turn this into a pointy point design? That's another thing we can do in PE design software very, very easily. And it's really, really fun. PE design is the name of the software. And I am using PE design version 11 to do all this. So Julia, that is the name of the software. So once again, I'm going to select all. And I'm going to go up to this wonderful, fun little tool that allows me to copy something in a specific arrangement. So I could copy vertically, horizontally. I could make 4 of these perfectly. I could turn them into a circle. I forget what matrix copy does. I think it just pastes a whole bunch of them on there. But you can, again, play around with this. I know what I want to do. I want to do what do I want to do? I want to do vertical mirror copy. So I'm going to click. Oh, I forgot to do one more thing first. So what do I do now? I just simply click back on select. I'm going to go, whoops, I didn't want to do that. So my best friend is here, undo. All right. I forgot I wanted to do one more thing before I create another copy of that. I want this to mimic the point on my napkin. So I'm going to go ahead and click on rotate. And in rotate, I can choose exactly the amount. And I want to do a 45-degree rotation. So I'm going to type in 45 degrees. There, I've got now that perfect angle. Now I'm going to go ahead back up to arrange copy, vertical mirror, and it brings this wonderful little tool that shows me exactly where I'm going to get a vertical mirror imaged copy of that. So I simply click on that and there you go. Isn't that a beautiful thing? I love it. I absolutely love it. So again, I'm just going to show you the different way to do select. Click on select and we're going to select all of that. Now I'm going to go ahead and arrange it in the center. All right, that's all there is to it. Now, of course, I could, change the color of that so that you can see that I'm going to do red. And I'm going to turn that into a red work design on my napkin. Is that not just too cool? How do we do, Angela? Did we get everybody kind of clear on that? Or
I love it. I love it. Everyone's saying thank you for the really good instructions. And so just to mention that real quick, Joanne, well, she just showed you that. If you go to the blog post, which we'll leave for you, if you scroll down through her blog, as Joanne always does, has great pictures. And if I keep scrolling, I'm going really fast. If anybody can read that fast, but roll down, and she gives you all of these tutorials through here as well, too.
So every single step that I just went through is outlined in the blog post. Every single step.
Which is awesome, Joanne, because it's nice to be able to see you do it as well. And then to have it there where you can slowly go back. I don't know about you, but I always prefer to watch first and then go back and do the design. And this way they can follow along and you literally have pictures step by step by step. So
exactly. Awesome. So what I just did in the PE Design 11 software, and again, I mean, this is a treasure trove of options for us to play with design. So you can do this with any design. Once you bring it into the software, you can literally chop it apart. So, that just, what does that do? That expands your design world into multiples and multiples and multiples. So, you don't need to know a lot. You don't need to be really computer savvy. You don't need to know everything the software does to do some of the things that just expand your embroidery repertoire. So I know there's a lot of people out there that have this software that are just, it's just, if they even loaded it at all, it's collecting dust inside their computer. So start using it. Okay. All right. So the rest of what we're going to do, is very simple. I'm going to go ahead and just show you a little bit of the hooping. So, has anybody ever accidentally hooped the wrong stabilizer? I want to hear from you out there. Okay, mine just
two hands for me, maybe four if I had them.
And it's not like I don't know what I have, but I'll use this as an excuse. I just got home from a 3-day sewing retreat with 12 wonderful friends out of town in a great place. And I was the designated person to bring stabilizers to this event. So I told everybody, don't bring anything with you. I'm bringing everything with me. And I brought one of every kind.
Wow.
Wash away adhesive stabilizer, sticky adhesive stabilizer, tear away stabilizer, cutaway stabilizer, lace making stabilizer. I brought everything with me. So guess where it's all at right now? It's still packed.
I was going to say, in a box or a suitcase, one or the other.
in a big tote bag. So when I went to grab my stabilizer this morning to hoop this up, I realized I did not use the adhesive backed wash away. I used the adhesive backed tear away. So let's talk about my little glitch here and why you would use one over the other. In the instructions, I recommend the adhesive backed wash away, which basically hoops the same way. It's got a paper coating. You hoop the whole piece with the paper coating, then you score it, you peel away all the paper, and you're left with an adhesive surface that you can tack your fabric down to, or your item down to, so that you don't have to hoop it between the inner and outer ring of the hoop. So it just makes hooping the unhoopables really easy. And napkins, yes, you could hoop this, but if you hoop it, you're not going to be able to get down really close to that corner there. So why would I use adhesive back wash away instead of my mistaken one here, which is adhesive back tear away? Because anytime you have those fine little details, let me grab my napkin here. All those fine little details, if you have to tear stabilizer out, and this is a tear away type, if you have to tear stabilizer away from those spaces, you're going to not be a happy person that day, because you're probably going to have to resort to tweezers, or you're going to mess up your fingernails. And like I said, it's just not going to be a happy occasion. So let me set that down for a second, and let me just show you the wrong side of my napkin. When you use wash away stabilizer, and I don't need any other, heavy stabilizer with this, because it's just an outline design. Look at how beautifully that napkin just drapes. I don't have any, crunchy feeling on the front or the back. And it just looks like it should look, because I'm not adding all that extra weight. So in this case, I made a mistake and I'm going to have to pull all those pieces out. But if you use the adhesive back wash away, one of my favorite stabilizers, you just simply wash this out in warm water and then soapy water to get all the excess out, and you've got a beautiful, beautiful piece left. So whenever I have a lightweight design, no matter what I'm stitching, whether it's on a blouse or or on table linens, if I have a lightweight design and I don't need any stabilizer staying there for the life of the piece to support the piece, the fabric is enough to support the embroidery all by itself, then I will use that adhesive back wash away because it is wonderful. I know, Angela, you like to use it for doing your netting and your lace making and
Yes, I love it.
But look how pretty that is. So you can do that napkin.
That's beautiful,
Either
Joanne.
way.
That's really beautiful.
And who would think that it came from this?
Yeah.
You'd think it was a coordinate. So there you go again. So think about this. No matter what designs you have, see what you can do with them and make coordinating items, because that's one of the beautiful things about what we're able to do. Money couldn't buy this. Try to find a set like this somewhere. It's not going to be very easy if it exists at all. So you've got the ability to do it yourself.
Quick question for you, Joanne. Someone asked that napkin. Did you purchase like a pre-made napkin, or
I did. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And since I'm sure it's not a Brother product, if you want to know where it is, you'll have to message Joanne.
Not a Brother product, but at one of those stores that you probably have really readily available, and they have bunches of them. So not hard to find. Now, that's kind of funny. I'm glad somebody asked that. And while we're on this topic, because I was thinking about this again as I was preparing, I was like, wonder if anybody's going to ask me if I made that napkin. And my answer is going to be no, but I could have. It's just, it's easy and inexpensive to buy something like this, and you're good to go and ready to sew. So you don't have to spend the time, but certainly you could. Any kind of, cotton fabric. I like to find fabric that I can fringe.
So did you do the fringing on that yourself?
That was already done. Done.
And that's like a double lucky.
Absolutely. But if I was going to make them myself, a lot of times I would prefer to fringe it than hem it. I like that look. I like that kind of homespun kind of look.
I do too. I think that's really cute.
You can use anything you want. So I'm not going to go through all the steps for how I hoop this. That is a little bit better done through the illustrations in the blog, but I show you how to literally take the grid that comes with your hoop, which that's another thing a lot of us throw aside. I use the grid a lot, and you would literally mark dots on your stabilizer so that when you go to lay this napkin on, you've got the exact center of the napkin in the center of the hoop, or pretty close. The main thing when you're hooping something like this is you are able to, you're able to have a little bit of adjustment from top to bottom and side to side. But that's another reason why I like to use sometimes a hoop that's a little bit bigger than what I need for this type of process, because I can just stick it right on and then I can adjust it around. Now, I don't happen to have a 6x10 hoop. This design was made specifically for a 6x10 hoop, the original design. So what I did is I took an 8x8 and I used an 8x8. So use whatever you have. All right. So you can see how I've hooped that. I could mark this, but I know I'm not alone in this. Just another tip. If you don't want to mark your fabric at all, put pins in it. Just pin it where you would normally have a marking, and then you can remove those pins, and you don't have any leftover markings that you have to get out of your fabric. All right. And I see Susie, that would be so cute on the legs of jean shorts. Yeah, I love your thinking, because there you go. You're taking something that I've done on table linens and you're translating it to garments. So great idea. All right,
Joanne,
Angela.
I can't help it. Marion, I'm like crying laughing with you because I did the same thing. I used heat away and thought it was wash away. It felt the same. I was in a hurry. And let me tell you, it did not work out well at all.
Yep. Yep. I had a friend once, she used wash away and thought it was cutaway mesh. She thought it was cutaway mesh, and she steamed it, and the steam scrunched the whole thing. Scrunched the whole thing.
We should have a show one time. Let's talk about our biggest embroidery bloopers. Okay, I couldn't help but interrupt that when I saw that. So keep going, Joanne.
It's funny. You really need to try to label your stabilizers. Again, I go back to my little trip that I took. I divvied up a lot of stabilizers between my friends. So take some of this home, take some of that home, take some of that home. And I brought sticky labels for each one of them so that they could mark them. Because I knew if I didn't, they were going to come to me later and say, Joanne, what was this? So, all right. Well, give me a minute. I'm going to switch over to the machine and we'll just do a couple things over there. Okay?
All right. So while she's switching, we can still hear you, Joanne. So just yell when you're ready. While she's switching, keep rolling your questions in, but I see a few that I can answer here. And I think it's Darlene. So where can you find the PE software? So call your local brother dealer. They will have the software. So that's what you want to do. And you can find those if you go to brothersews.com. There's a place on there where you can put in your zip code if you don't know who your brother dealer is. Or if you have a favorite brother dealer that you watch online, call them. How's that? All right, I think, hey, Amanda, great to see you. I see a lot of people rolling in later. Yes, you'll be able to watch this entire replay once we're finished live. But we put links in for the full blog post with all of her gorgeous pictures that you can go to now. And by the way, if you haven't been to the Brother blog in a while, there's a ton of great stuff in there. So you could definitely sew for a while. All right, I think Joanne's just about ready. And I'll bring, you ready, Joanne?
Give me 1 second. It's
Okay.
not, I guess I used a bigger hoop last time. It's not liking my hoop size. So let me shrink the design just a little bit here.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, hey, Birdie. Great to see you. Oh, so Stabilizer 101 class. Yeah, Mandy, that would be a good one. I agree. So yes, on next week, there will be a Brothers show at noon on Tuesday and Thursday. Both of them are pre-recorded because I've got the family at the beach. But sewing machine cover, it's super cool for National Sewing Day, which is Tuesday. Emily's showing you how to measure any sewing machine, any serger, and make a cool cover. And I'm making a beach bag because I got to give one to all the kids. I can't haul all that stuff to the beach. So, something cool, creative, and useful. So you'll see those next week on Tuesday and Thursday at noon Eastern, or watch the replay. All right, I think Joanne's just about back.
I'm back. I'm ready.
Darlene, you're getting your serger. Darlene, did you get the new one, the Airflow? Ooh. I'm just curious.
Whoa. Fun.
All right, Joanne is back.
Okay, so I just want to talk about a couple different ways you can position this. First of all, one of my favorites, and hopefully you can see it, I'll point with my seam ripper, is this little drop light. And, again, I'm working on the Luminaire 3 right now, but that drop light foot is available for a variety of different machines if it didn't already come with your machine. So how do you know if you can use that foot? Well, if you reach back on your machine, there will be a hole in the back just behind where your presser foot lifter is. And if you have that little hole in the back, it means that foot is available for your machine. And you definitely want to check that out because you don't have to have top of the line to have that capability. What that does is it points to the exact center of your hoop by default. So if, I can see that's pretty well in line with my pins, but it also allows you to use something called the trial feature, which is where we can literally tell the machine we want to see where the hoop is for the center of the bottom, for the center of the top, for the center of the center of the top edge of the hoop, bottom edge. We can see all of that area we can also actually see it trace out the entire design parameter. So that little, now our foot's tracing it. So we all have this capability on every machine for the foot to trace with the trial feature. But having that laser light gives me a pinpoint precision to show me exactly where those stitches are going to be. So if I go back to the center and I go down to the bottom here, I could see I'm just a little bit off there. So if I use a bigger hoop, then I would be able to just use my move key and just tweak that position until it goes and points right to the center. So I'm pointing to my pin head, but you can see it's right in line with that. So that's certainly one option. Now, another option would be for you to use your camera scanner. If you have the ability to scan, you could scan this entire hoop area and it will take a picture of that. If you have the app where you can use your phone and take a picture, or your mobile device and take a picture of it, you can also do it that way. We could put a snowman marker in the center and use the snowman marker technology, or we can use on this machine, we can use the projector. So I know I just kind of threw out a whole bunch of things at you, but it's really just to tell you that there are many, many ways that you can do this, and you can, use whatever is in your repertoire. Let me get that projector pulled up here. And let's try a different color. Can you see that? I think you can see that. So I could then move and I could see exactly where those flowers are going to land. And if I wanted those closer to my point, then I would just move those down. And that, that just gives me an exact visual of where that's going to be. So, whatever is in your repertoire, go ahead and make use of that to position your designs and give you that precise placement. Okay, so we're not going to stitch this today because I don't think you need to see it stitched out. We've got one already done. I'll come back over to the camera here and we can wrap up with some questions.
All right, sounds good. While Joanne's coming back to the camera, drop your questions in. If you have anything, you can ask her. We are live right now if you're watching. If we don't answer, that means you're watching the replay.
I see a lot of airflow conversation going on here. And boy, I'll tell you, I'm loving that machine. So yeah, another whole different subject. But if you've got the ability to get that airflow serger, go for it.
All right, everyone's saying great instructions. Great instructions. You're welcome, Amanda. Great to see you. Oh, Norma just bought the Stellaire, hasn't taken it out of the box yet.
Woo, Norma, congratulations.
Oh, Darlene, you just had to get yours fixed. That's right. I should have remembered that. Everyone's loving your labeling ideas.
Just make your life easy as much as you can. That's like the secret to life, is make everything as easy as you can.
Definitely. I don't see a lot of questions. Kelly has a question, but I'm not really quite sure. It's not really pertaining to what you're doing here. Oh, thanks, Lil.
Kelly's got a great point here. She says she was listening to a lady talk about the snowman stickers and said that the true center for stitching wasn't actually the center of the hoop grid. It's if you have the hoop grid, the center is pretty precise. But if you're going by the notches on the hoop, that does not match up with the exact center of the hoop grid. So the true precision point for the center is where the needle is pointing. When you put the hoop on, by default, the machine goes right to the needle pointing the exact center. So that's what you're going to use for your criteria. Snowman marker is pretty dead on accurate. The only variation you have on that is sometimes when you have some different thicknesses of fabric, And there's even an adjustment on the machine for that as well. But where that
Yeah.
needle is pointing, that is what I would call precise center. Hope that
And
helps.
I just popped the link back in. I know it looks like some of you popped in a little bit late. Fisher, all I saw was fish on there, which I love.
Yeah.
So our fishing buddy, how do you get to the blog? I just posted it on Facebook and YouTube. You should be able to click on that link. You'll see my name on there. Oh, you're welcome, Kelly.
Oh,
Delia wants to know, is there a playbook for PE design?
there's not a playbook, but there is a really good instruction manual, and there's an online instruction manual. And in the online instruction manual, you actually get more instructions than you do with the paper manual. So I think
that's
paper
good to
manual
know.
still comes with it. Yeah. Yeah.
And Delia, Cindy Hogan, who is Brother Brand Ambassador / Brother Educator, she has some books, and also she does a live show every Tuesday. So you can
Yes.
always follow
Yes.
along for her.
Cindy is the ultimate expert in software. I would always say Cindy is the go-to person for that.
That's how I learned from her books. And you, Joanne, you always give great tips too, though. You know, you can pick up a little bit here, a little bit there. Now, your project is really cute. And Brother's social team's on here saying, do you think you're going to try this project? Are you going to do it? Because we would love to see it. And here you go. Use hashtag Brother Sews, or if you're using the scan and cut, hashtag Brother Scan and Cut. They love to see what you're working on.
Well, you know, again, it's always the case that when you finish a project, at least for me, I think of 10 more things. And I thought, what if I took a coffee can, plain old, coffee can, and I think you can even buy, you can buy the paint cans and you can buy things like that, and just, put this around it, surrounded it, just the elastic, it'll wrap right around, and fill it with treats. For fill it with sparklers, fill it with pinwheels, whatever you want. You could do a lot with it.
Next week I'm going to be filling it with bubbles. I have a feeling I've bought a ton of bubbles, Joanne, for all the kids. They're all going to get bubbles. So I don't know if it's going to turn out good or bad.
Tote bag. Wouldn't this be cute on a tote bag?
Oh yeah,
like a denim tote bag or a white tote bag.
If I had time, I would make that and put that on my mesh beach bag that I'm working on.
Yeah, it would be great. A beach bag would be a blast. That would be a blast to do.
Super fun. Yep. Hey, Joanne, do you know, because I don't know this one offhand, I would assume yes, but I don't know. Leslie wants to know, does this software work with Mac? Because you use a Mac, don't you?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. So I'm going to give you the official answer is that Brother supports their software on Windows-based computers because that's what it's designed for. I use a Mac every day, all day, and that's all I use. However, I have Windows, not a Brother product, loaded on my computer, and then I have another program that allows me to run Windows on my Mac-based computer. And you saw everything I did today. It worked wonderfully. There's a few things that don't mesh, like some of the wireless transfer and some of that type of thing. But for me, I'm willing to sacrifice a few little things in order to stay on my Mac computer. So that's kind of the answer. It's not designed to work on a Mac, but with a workaround, I have made it work. Hope that helps. Good.
Pamela wants to know, how do you turn on the small red layer for center of hoop? Small. What is that?
I think she means laser. It depends on your machine where it's at, but you'll have a little icon to touch, and it will turn that on. So it varies in different machines.
I think we got all the questions, and we posted links for the blog post. You can't miss it. And don't forget, if you're on YouTube right now, be sure to subscribe. And Anne, I love it when you're on your show. He's like, did everyone like this post? Don't forget to like the post if you like it, because then Brother will make sure that they keep these shows coming back on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. And on Facebook, do the same. Be sure to like and follow. You can come back and watch the replay, and also go to the blog post and see Joanne's awesome pictures.
And you know where to find me if you need me. Let's go sew.com. You'll find me if you have any more questions or I missed something here, please reach out. I love to help you with your brother projects.
I just put her website. It's scrolling. I'll let it go up there just for a second. And Joanne, happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful birthday. I got blessed with so many gifts you can't even imagine. I should have brought in one of them was just utterly amazing. I have a friend who made a hand puppet that is my mini me. And I'm going to be using that in some future shows. So it's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. A mini me. We all need one of those. I wish they could get them, put batteries in them, and get them to work. We could double our workload, right?
Exactly. So yeah, thank you everyone. I got a lot of great birthday wishes posted, and if you were one of those, thank you so much. It really it made a very special day for me. Thank you.
Awesome. And don't forget, Joanne and I both have newsletters if you go to our website. So does Brother. If you want to keep up on everything. So if you love following Joanne's projects, sign up for her newsletter. She always tells you what's happening. I share not quite as often as she does, but you can sign up for mine as well. And you never miss a beat, right? We love having you. So Brother.
Absolutely.
Thank you for letting your ambassadors take over the page. And Joanne, it's always great to see you. I can't wait. Do we get a hint about what
yes.
next month is?
I can't wait to show you next month. So next month is a 4x4 design. So again, we're trying to, keep everybody happy. It's a 4x4 design. It will work on every machine. It's really a neat summer design. And the project is something that I think almost every single solitary person can use. How's that for a general?
Wow.
Yeah.
Every single person can use.
Yes. Male, female, young, older, anybody that ever kind of leaves the house, you could use this.
Oh, something for your keys.
You don't even have to drive to use this. You don't even have to drive.
Right. I can't wait to see what everybody guesses on this one. And I look forward to seeing you next month, Joanne. In the meantime, happy sewing and happy sewing to all of you.
Happy sewing, everyone. Have a great day.